Have you ever wondered how money zips across the globe in seconds? When you send money to someone overseas, it feels almost magical, right? Well, a lot of that magic is thanks to a system called SWIFT. But what if I told you this global financial highway could also be used as a powerful weapon? And what if a new rival highway is being built right now? Today, we're diving deep into the world of SWIFT, its surprising power, and the rise of a potential challenger, China's CIPS. So, what exactly is SWIFT? Imagine you're sending a letter to a friend in another country. You need their address, postcode, and name, all written correctly, so the Postal Service knows where to deliver it. SWIFT, which stands for the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, is like the super secure high-speed postal service for banks. It doesn't actually move the money itself. Instead, it sends payment orders, secure messages between more than 11,000 financial institutions in over 200 countries. It provides a standardized language and a secure network for these messages, ensuring your money transfer from a bank in New York to one in Tokyo is understood and processed correctly. It's the backbone of international finance, handling millions of these messages every single day. Without it, global trade would grind to a halt. For decades, SWIFT has been seen as a neutral, technical utility. It's based in Belgium, governed by a board of its member banks, and its sole purpose was thought to be facilitating smooth financial communication. It is, like the water pipes or the electrical grid, an essential piece of infrastructure that just works in the background, unnoticed by most of us. But here's where things get interesting. Because almost all major international transactions pass through this network, it creates a unique pressure point. What happens if a country is suddenly cut off from it? This is what we mean by the weaponization of SWIFT. Over the last decade or so, political powers, particularly the United States, have realized that access to SWIFT is a powerful lever of influence. Because many international transactions, especially those involving US dollars, are ultimately cleared through US banks, America has significant sway over the network. We saw this with Iran. To pressure the country over its nuclear program, Iranian banks were disconnected from SWIFT. The effect was devastating. Iran's ability to trade with the outside world, to import goods and export oil, was crippled overnight. Its economy took a massive hit. More recently, and perhaps more dramatically, we saw this happen with Russia following its invasion of Ukraine. Major Russian banks were swiftly expelled from the network. This was a financial bombshell, a move designed to isolate Russia from the global financial system and hamstrung its ability to fund its war efforts. The consequences were immediate. The ruble plunged, and the Russian economy faced immense turmoil. These actions showed the world that SWIFT was no longer just a neutral utility. It had become a tool of geopolitical strategy, a way for nations to wage economic warfare without firing a single shot. Now, when one country sees another using a powerful tool like this, what do you think they do? They start thinking about how to protect themselves. This is where China enters the picture. For years, China has been watching these events unfold. As the world's second-largest economy and a major global trader, the thought of being similarly cut off from SWIFT is a huge concern for Beijing. A financial disconnection would be catastrophic for its made-in-China export machine and its global ambitions. So, what's their solution? Build their own system. Enter CIPS, the Cross-Border Interbank Payment System. Launched by China in 2015, CIPS is often described as China's answer to SWIFT. Its goal is to provide an alternative network for clearing and settling international payments, particularly those made in the Chinese currency, the yuan. Think of it as China building its own parallel financial highway. Initially, CIPS was quite small and still relied on SWIFT for messaging to banks outside of its direct network, but it has been growing steadily. The primary goal of CIPS is twofold. First, it's about risk mitigation. By having their own system, China reduces its vulnerability to being cut off from SWIFT due to political tensions. It's a form of financial insurance. If the main highway is blocked, they can redirect traffic to their own route. Second, it's about promoting the international use of the yuan. Right now, the US dollar is king in global trade. Most international contracts are priced and settled in dollars. This gives the United States enormous economic power. China wants to challenge that. By creating a system that makes it easier and cheaper to transact in yuan, China hopes more countries will start using its currency for trade and investment. A successful CIPS could be a major step toward making the yuan a true global reserve currency, on par with the dollar. So, is CIPS a real threat to SWIFT's dominance? Well, not yet. Let's look at the numbers. SWIFT handles tens of millions of messages daily. CIPS, while growing, is still a fraction of that size. The vast majority of global banks are deeply integrated with and switching systems is a complex and expensive process. Furthermore, the dominance of the US dollar is a huge hurdle for CIPs. As long as most of the world wants to trade in dollars, SWIFT, which is the primary network for dollar transactions, will remain essential. Banks will go where the money is, and right now, the money is still overwhelmingly green. However, the world is changing. The weaponization of SWIFT has made many countries, not just China, nervous. Nations in Asia, Africa, and Latin America are watching closely. They're increasingly looking for ways to reduce their dependence on the dollar and the Western-led financial system. This growing sentiment could create an opening for CIPs. Countries that have strained relationships with the West, or simply want to diversify their options, might see CIPS as an attractive alternative. For example, Russia, after being cut off from the has increasingly turned to CIPS and the yuan for its trade with China. The development of CIPS is part of a much broader strategy by China to reshape the global financial order. This includes initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative, which funds infrastructure projects worldwide, often with loans denominated in yuan, and the development of a digital yuan, a central bank digital currency that could one day facilitate seamless cross-border payments entirely outside the existing banking systems. All these pieces fit together. CIPS provides the plumbing, the Belt and Road provides the projects, and the digital yuan could provide the currency for a new, China-centric economic sphere. So, what does the future look like? We are likely heading towards a more fragmented global financial system. Instead of one single highway, we might see several parallel highways, with SWIFT and CIPs as the two main arteries. Countries and businesses might have to choose which system to use based on their political alignments and economic interests. This could lead to the formation of different financial blocks, a world where transactions within a Western bloc flow through SWIFT and the dollar, while transactions within a China-led bloc flow through CIPS and the yuan. This isn't something that will happen overnight. The network effects of SWIFT are incredibly powerful. But the trend is clear. The unipolar moment in global finance, dominated by one system and one currency, is being challenged. The story of SWIFT and CIPs is more than just a technical discussion about banking systems. It's a story about power, sovereignty, and the future of the global economy. It shows how technology and finance are becoming central battlegrounds in the great power competition of the 21st century. The quiet, behind-the-scenes world of financial messaging is now front and center in geopolitics. What started as a simple tool to make banking easier has become a symbol of a shifting world order. What do you think? Will CIPS ever truly rival SWIFT? Or is the dominance of the dollar in the existing system too strong to overcome? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive into the hidden wiring of the global economy interesting, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.